G'day guys and welcome to your English Aussie. Today I'm going to go through with you a free hit 33 team for all of the best players you can have on a free hit. I'm also going to go through with you a wildcard draft for game week 33 if you haven't used it yet, for how I'd look to structure my team going forwards. So let's jump straight into it with the free hit team. If you guys do want your free hit team or your normal team rated, add me on socials above and send me a DM with the screenshot of your team and your team ID so that I can give you a detailed analysis of what I think your plan should be, when I think your chip should be used, similar to the Rate Your Wildcard Team series that I did earlier in the season. Check them out down below if you haven't seen them before and you're interested. Let's get straight back to the video. Now, the first person up on this list is going to be somebody that has really come under consideration since his announcement that he will be leaving Manchester City at the end of the season, and that is Kevin De Bruyne. Since that announcement, it does look like Pep is planning to play him in the team every game until the end of the season. It is a really important moment for City at the moment to ensure they get themselves into the top 5 and Champions League football, and I'm sure De Bruyne wants to leave on a high. That is Kevin De Bruyne, and he is the first name on this team list. I think this week he would actually be the captain of my free hit side. Other double game weekers that I would look definitely to be bringing into the side for this week is Omar Marmoush. He's looked in really nice form for Manchester City. We think he's probably on penalties. He is the only striker with Erling Haaland being out, and therefore I would be keen to have him in my side. I wouldn't be keen to go for a triple City attack, just given the fixtures of Everton and Aston Villa. Might be a bit too much to go for 3 attackers. Therefore, I would like to get 1 City defender in there, as they have shored up their defence, been a little bit less vulnerable in transition, with Nico Gonzalez coming into the base of the midfield, and also moving Gvardiol into that centre-back role, allowing Nico O'Reilly to play in that left wing-back role, has been really nice. Unfortunately, O'Reilly is classified as a midfielder, and therefore we will be going for Gvardiol in that centre-back role for Manchester City. Now, looking at the rest of the team, what the nice fixtures are this week, I do think that we will probably most likely look to target those double game weekers as well. Of course, we don't want to have all the same players as sort of plenty of the other teams out there at the moment. But one of the things that I do like is Raya in goal for Arsenal. I don't think there's a better goalkeeper this week. I think he's likely to start both games for Arsenal, regardless of the Champions League fixtures. Obviously, Arsenal play on Thursday in the Champions League, followed by Sunday in the league, and then Thursday again back in the Champions League. I am talking Australian time, so potentially that's Wednesday night in England, Sunday morning, and then Wednesday night again against Crystal Palace. So I like Raya in goal. I do think that there is a big potential for rotation within that Arsenal team, and I think specifically in the midfield is where it's going to come. I think that Crystal Palace game, the second game of the second game of the double, is a game where I feel like they would be comfortable playing a lot of their players, given that they have a 1 week rest after that to the next Champions League game, assuming they go through against Real Madrid this Wednesday night, Thursday morning for the Aussies. So because of that, I do actually think the way I'd like to go is I'm not very comfortable around Bukayo Saka or Mikel Merino, given that in the league, Arsenal haven't really been starting Merino up top all the time. In the last couple of games, they started Trossard at the top, and one of those times Merino was benched, and one of those times he was playing in the midfield. Therefore, I think the best options are to go into that Arsenal defence, and one of those options would be William Saliba. Next up is a man that I think everybody will be having in our side regardless. is Mo Salah against Leicester. It's a fantastic fixture for me, and I just think he's someone that you're really going to want to have in your team, regardless of the single game week or double game week. Next up on my list, will be again focusing on these double game weekers, especially in the attacking side of it. You really want to get those players that have two options for attacking returns, and someone that's been looking really nice and sort of almost looking like a starter in the side for Aston Villa at the moment is Marcus Rashford. And he is somebody that might be a slight differential pick, someone that those that are on bench boost or just playing a wild card or just potentially using their transfers and having no chips may not have in their side. So he could be someone really nice that could allow you a slight differential on those people. Next up into this midfield, and it is going to be Eberechi Eze. I think over the last couple of weeks, he has been outperforming Ismail Assar. You did see in the Palace game against Manchester City when they went 3-5-2, the two of them played up front together. And when they do play that 3-4-2-1 that Palace like to play, it is Eze and Sarr in behind Mateta. Eze has been making those forward runs, breaking runs into the box and starting to get into some nicer positions that often it was Ismail Assar in earlier times was making those runs. So Eze for me is going to be my Palace pick, and again I think might be a slight differential over the majority of players that likely do have Ismail Assar. To top that off, I will also have Jean-Philippe Mateta up front. I don't think he's a minutes risk. I know he was removed after 45 minutes against Manchester City. I personally think Mateta has been in sensational form for Palace. I really am not sure why Glasner made that decision to take him off at half-time. It completely ruined Palace. And similarly to in Palace's previous match, when he did take Mateta off after, I think it was around 60 minutes. I think it was around 60 minutes against Brighton, I think it was. And again, it completely ruined Palace's momentum and just made them look so much less dangerous. So unless something happens with the next game in the double against Newcastle, I would definitely be still keeping Mateta in the side, especially for that Bournemouth game. Now, 2 spots left in this starting 11 for the free hit, and probably what I think will be considered a slight differential to what others are going at the moment. I think the way I would like to go in this situation would be to go for a triple up at the back for Arsenal. I know they have found ways of just conceding a goal recently, but I think that Ipswich fixture does look really nice for them. Crystal Palace, obviously not the easiest fixture, but I can see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet against them. And you'd look for those sort of Palace returns for their attackers against Bournemouth in that first fixture. So I will be going for a triple Arsenal defence. Just a quick shout out to say, if you are enjoying these videos, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel below. It's just a small thing for you guys, but it really helps this small channel grow. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys could just take a second out just to do that for us. Thanks very much, guys, and let's get right back into the video. And my final player in the starting 11 is going to be Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa, and have a double Villa midfield with Rashford and Rogers. Rogers has been in sensational form for Aston Villa. It just is minutes proof. He's playing almost 90 minutes every match, including in the Champions League. Emery loves him. He doesn't want to rotate, and he's really found his stride over the last few games. So he's going to go in there to round out my midfield. That would be 10 double game weekers and Mo Salah in the team. I think there's a few differentials in there. I think this is a slightly different team to some others, whilst also maintaining that strength of the 10 doublers in the team. On the bench, I don't think it matters too much who you go for, but I will put Areola in for the nice fixture against Southampton. I am going to go for Cody Gakpo against Leicester. I am going to also put in there Munoz of Crystal Palace. and I will not have him. I'll have him on the bench. And I'm going to finish off with Virgil van Dijk of Liverpool. I think there's a choice that you want to make. Potentially, maybe you want to go for 2 Arsenal defenders. You can easily flick Munoz in there and ignore the third Arsenal defence. I just thought it might be quite a nice little differential to gamble on that Arsenal defence over that 2-game week. It definitely are the nicer fixtures of the lot. I would prefer Arsenal v Ipswich and Palace to Palace versus Bournemouth and Arsenal. But I think you can go either way around if you want to spread the risk out a little bit. So that would be my game week 33 free hit team. If you were looking to wildcard in game week 33, I think my team would be looking slightly different. I would, of course, be looking to sort of shape it towards those future weeks. So I think if we just restore the majority of these guys here, I would be looking to have quite a similar team. I think Morgan Rogers would stay in there for Aston Villa. And then at the spine, I would most likely look to have Saliba. Potentially Alexander Isak stays in there. Eberechi as he comes in. And then on the bench, maybe we do have Virgil. Maybe we have a Milenkovic for future Nottingham Forest game weeks. And potentially we even have maybe even a Hudson-Odoi, given Alanga's is currently out. But I would guess that we'd have a free hit in 34 and Alanga would be back by 35. So let's go for that. And then maybe a Sells on the bench to rotate with Raya. If say Van Dijk we can't get, we'll just go down to Bradley for the thing. So then if we look through the future weeks here on this sort of wildcard side, this is sort of allowing you to understand the planning and how your players affect the future game weeks. Obviously, if you're on a free hit for 33, that is not so important. But in this case, say we would free hit in 34, and then in 35, you get your team from 33 back. So this is the team that we had there in 33. It's likely that we would maybe play Milenkovic in here. Potentially the defense is looking a little bit weak here. Maybe we don't want to go for a Connor Bradley, given his fixtures are not so nice. Maybe we want to look to have somebody in there who has a nice fixture in game week 35 or nice fixtures going forwards from 35 onwards. Everton have some nice fixtures as well. So let's potentially look for Mikalenko. And in fact, maybe we put him in here on the bench in 33. Save the transfer. He can come in this week for Saliba. In the midfield, we'll have De Bruyne, Rodgers, Salah against Chelsea, who've been poor defensively. And then potentially this becomes a Elanga against Crystal Palace. To kind of hit on the break. Crystal Palace have been struggling a little bit with counter-attacks, as we saw with Southampton and also Manchester City. I think Mateta up front's okay. Potentially we could look to transfer him out in game week 35. In fact, who I like for this run-in, who has a really nice run-in, is Johan Wissa at Brentford. So that's one of our transfers used in 35. Then we go into 36. There might potentially be a few doubles in 36. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Man City, Bournemouth, etc. Brentford all could be doubling in that game week. Looking at the team here, it does look really nice. Sells in goal against Leicester with Milenkovic. Munoz against Tottenham, looking for those attacking returns. Guardiola against Southampton. De Bruyne v Southampton. Eze versus Tottenham. Salah is just Mo Salah. Elanga versus Everton. Marmoush versus Southampton. Isak versus a shoddy Chelsea defence. And Wissa versus Ipswich. If we did want to bring in some double game weekers, we do have, I think this would actually be 2 transfers to make in that game week. Looking ahead to 37, again, you could put in Mikalenko in there. You get De Bruyne into your team, of course. Potentially for Isaac. And then into 38. And we'll look to make some transfers here. We'll have, maybe we move Munoz, we bring in Kiwior, or we even bring in Jurriën Timber for that game against Southampton. Into the midfield, we got De Bruyne, Salah, Rodgers, and Elanga. That looks pretty nice for 38. Triple Arsenal defence again, and up front, Wissam, Marmoush, and Isak to round out. So that's the sort of structure that I'd be looking for on a game week 33 wildcard. Those are the sort of fixtures and planning that you want to take into account. Of course, if I was on a free hit, the team would look slightly different. I would consider going for a triple Arsenal defence, but if you did just want to go for a double, you could easily put Munoz in there for Kiwior. Of course, if you have enjoyed these videos, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're just a small channel trying to grow at the moment, so I'd really appreciate it if it's just a small thing for you guys, but it really does make a difference to our channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back later in the week with some plans for my own team. And if you do want your team rated for a Rate My Team video later this week, please DM me. My socials are up above. DM me with your team screenshot and your team ID, and I will do a video explaining what transfers I think you should make and how I would best use your chips. Thanks again for watching, everybody. This has been your English Aussie, and I will catch you guys next week. Have a great game week, guys. Thanks.